Hey everyone, welcome to episode 302. It's not about the pasta. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. You all are probably like, what is she doing labeling these podcasts? It's not about the pasta. I'm going to leave that as a little cliffhanger for you. And before we get into the topic of today, so many of you, and I mean so many of you, have reached out to me about the letter writing. And it has been so fun getting some of you started. And remember, you have to let me know what state that you're in. It's only available in US and Canada, and some states aren't eligible. So let me know where you are before you sign up, because I don't want you to sign up and then find out that your state's not eligible. Now, the academy that you're signing up for, they have a lot of trainings in there for building businesses online. These sisters are dynamic and they have a lot to offer. I'm not really talking about it anymore on my social media. I'm really talking about it just on the podcast, because I was finding, for me, I'm trying to spend more time offline and off social media and off my computer and off the devices. And that's one of the reasons why I love the letter writing. I love working with all of you. I love anything that I'm doing in the community, like the talks that I do. I love doing that because I'm trying to spend 2025 and beyond more time off my phone, off the devices. Because of my addictive personality, I realized that it's like a vortex. And when I was talking about it on social media and in my stories and in my notes, I haven't even posted on my Facebook wall. When I tell you, I was spending all of my time online back and forth with hundreds, probably 300 to 400 emails. And I just can't keep up. A lot of it was education, trying to explain it, because this letter writing is very outside the box, and I get that, and it's very confusing, and there are 7 billion questions, and I had 10 billion questions, so I get that. So I just couldn't keep up. So I'm just sharing it on the podcast for the most part here on out. Sometimes I'll mention it a little bit in moms groups and stuff like that when people are looking for side gigs. This is not a I'm going to quit my job and do this full time kind of thing. This is just a fun little side gig, a distraction, an escape. For me, it's an escape. For me, it's really good grief therapy, and it should not bring you any stress or anxiety. But it's not for everybody. So if it's something that you're interested in, send me an email at coachingkelly@aol.com or message me on Facebook, which is fine. I just couldn't keep up with the hundreds of emails. So I'm only talking about it on the podcast, really. And I'm loving it. So until I don't love it, I will keep sharing it. But I understand it's not for everybody. And also, so you have to see if it's a match for you. Now, we are going to get to the topic of it's not about the pasta. Now, I don't know if you love Bravo as much as I love Bravo. I used to be a Bravo addict. I'm not as much anymore. I really like Summer House. The housewives get a little, it's so repetitive, and it seems so scripted, and it seems so fake, all these fake little fights. And so I keep up on some of it. I just watch it from far away, but I used to watch it like obsessively. Like I had it in my calendar, mostly the housewives, all the different seasons. It was so funny because my dad, he would do anything that his daughters loved, and he would do anything just to bond with us. And so, especially, I think it was New Jersey Housewives. Yeah, it was New Jersey Housewives with Teresa and all of them. I loved it. And so when we would be on our runs and stuff, I would talk about it with Jennifer, and he'd be like, what's this you're watching? What's this you're watching? I think I need to watch it too. So, he just loved doing anything that we loved doing, even if he didn't love doing it, because he just knew how much we loved it. I was like, yeah. And then she flipped the table, and he's like, oh, okay. So then he started watching it, and he couldn't stand it. He's like, this is so stressful. This is so much trash. How do you stomach this? I'm like, Dad, you don't have to watch it. And then it'd be like Tuesday, and it would be on that night. And then he'd be like, oh God, I woke up with a pit in my stomach, knowing that tonight I got to watch New Jersey Housewives. I'm like, Dad, you don't have to watch New Jersey Housewives. We have 75 other things we could talk about. He's like, yeah, but I got it. So I think he secretly liked it, but he also loved talking about it with his girls. So this is a show from a very famous line. Well, it lives rent free in my head. It probably doesn't in yours, but it might after this. It lives rent free in my head because this always reminds me that it's not about the pasta when I am having a big emotion over something that happened, or if my kids are having a big reaction about something that happened, that I know it's not about the pasta. And this is from Vanderpump Rules. I can't believe I'm playing Vanderpump Rules on our beautiful curse-free podcast. So I'm going to have our wonderful editor, Adi. If you ever want to start a podcast, I will hook you up with amazing editor. His name is Adi, and he is fabulous. Literally, I just talk into a microphone, and he takes care of everything else. So I'm going to have him not bleep out the cursory words. I'm just going to have him mute it because I cannot stand when I am watching a show. This is a little side vent. I should just do an episode because I think a lot of you think I'm like Laura Ingalls, and like when I vent about something and I'm in and I'm around people who think I'm Laura Ingalls, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Kelly, I didn't know you were so angry about things." I'm like, "Yeah, like I could vent like the best of them." So I'm definitely not Laura Ingalls. And so a side vent that I have is when I'm watching a show and there's lots of cursory words, which I don't like to hear anyway. Why do we have to bleep them? Like, why are we bleeping words? Can you just mute them? Like, the beeping is actually, I'd rather hear the curse word. Like, I know it's against FTC or whatever, but like, can you just not do the beep, 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 beep? And I watch a lot of true crime, and I watch a lot of like arrest videos, and there's sometimes it's like, am I listening to Morse code? Why is my voice getting so high? The beep, 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 beep. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you just mute it? Like, I get it. She's cursing or he's cursing. Like, they're wrestling to the ground. I'm sure some curse words are going to fall out. But do we need to beep it like Morse code? Anyway, so this has a lot of cursory words in it. But I want you to listen to it, and then you're going to be like, why is she playing Vanderpump Rules on our beautiful podcast about having harmony in the home when they don't even know the first thing about having harmony in the home? But listen to it, and then I'll talk to you on the other side of it.
James, I literally said that Raquel said, do you want some of my pasta? And it was devoured by
talking about the pasta, get over it. You've always been a towards Raquel.
Are you really saying that? Because I told you I ate her pasta.
Honey, you fat man, because he pays for your rent.
Stop. You know what? You can't say whatever the you want. Learn your place, mother. Or else you're gonna learn real quick when you look next to you and I'm not there anymore. And you're gonna be real upset. So know how to talk to somebody when they're your friend. I'm out.
Well, when am I gonna talk to you again? That didn't end.
Go talk to her right now. Go. Are you kidding me?
Lala, listen, I'm sorry.
I told you that I ate Raquel's pasta, and that's how you come for me?
It was
what
like
the f is wrong with you?
It was a dig.
What the f is wrong with you?
Dig.
It was a joke. Stop coming for people who have your back. I told you I had a bite of her pasta, and then the whole thing was devoured, and that's what you go off on.
Why is it about the pasta? Get over the pasta. Read between the lines. It ain't about the pasta. It's not about the pasta.
Okay, so this clip lives rent-free in my head because it's never about the pasta. So Lala and James are fighting about they used to date. They have like some type of relationship where they used to date, but not really. And now there's like, I've heard this term lately from the teens. It's called micro cheating, where you're not like having a full blown cheating affair with someone, but like you might be texting with them or like commenting inappropriate things on their picture or just like reaching out. Like you haven't crossed the line, but like you're towing on the line. And so they are post relationship trying to be friends. And then Lala is jealous of James' new girl. And James is like, we have to be friends, but you have to we have to coexist with my new girlfriend. And Lala's pretending she's not jealous. James is accusing her of being jealous and not being welcoming to her and being mean to her. And I guess she ate her pasta. And so they're fighting about the pasta. So when you're fighting with someone about topics, just know that it's not about the topics. And I talk about that a lot with David and I when we were in Naples and I was an unconscious wife and he was an unconscious husband. We were arguing so much about division of labor, where he was thinking he was doing all the things and I was thinking I was doing all the things. And so I'm like, well, I did this, this, and this. And then he'd be like, well, I did this and this. Like there was like a scorecard and a scoreboard. And it really wasn't about the division of labor, but I really thought it was. And we just went around in circles and circles and circles. And then it'd be like calm for a couple weeks. And then it would come up again, like the recycle bin. Why didn't you do that? And I was like, oh my gosh. So just know when you're arguing about topics, it's not really about the topic at hand. Whenever you are having a big reaction to something, what your kids do, and then you kind of like black out. I hear that a lot from parents. Not like you black out and like don't remember it, but like you see red and you can't see anything beyond it. And you're just so mad about something and you react in a way that you're not proud of. And then afterwards you're like, wow, like I just lost my ever loving mind. What happened there? The kid was just being a kid. I'm just going to use the example of parent and child because when I was unconscious, I had such big reactions over like such trivial things in hindsight. But I literally thought it was just about the trivial thing. But then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, if my students did this, I wouldn't act that way. If my niece and nephew did this, I wouldn't act that way. If I had some neighbor kids over, I wouldn't react this way. So what is it? And I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea about the ego. I was like, well, clearly it has to be about the thing because for me, it was like I'm trying to nip things in the bud. I was so afraid of raising a child that was disrespectful or rude or unkind or unfriendly or not confident or unhappy that whenever I would see anything like that at like 3 years old, when they're unkind, unfriendly, not using their manners, not sharing, I would flip out. Now flip out is relative, but it was all based in fear. And just so you know, most toddlers are unfriendly, no manners, have no filter. Like they are just savage animals running through the wild, but they're adorable and cute, but they don't know how to exist in the world. So we have to teach them through modeling and embodying it. But when we see that behavior, sometimes it's very triggering. Like all of a sudden it comes back to us, like it's a representation of us and I've failed as a parent. Well, I'm just here to tell you it has nothing to do with you. It's your ego flaring up. My ego does it all the time still, even with teenagers. Your ego will come, knock on the door and be like, are we playing today or are we not playing today? But when you know this, it's so empowering because you're like, oh, this is just rooted in fear. This is just parenting from fear. So when you know that you're having a big reaction, just say to yourself, it's not about the pasta. For me, I say that to myself to kind of like make myself giggle. Like it's not about the pasta. And the way James says it, it's not about the pasta. It makes me laugh just thinking about it. And it kind of like lightens the load a little bit of like, okay, what just happened there? What's going on for me? For me, I always talk about how my infertility journey played so much into my fear-based parenting, especially in early years, because when it took us so long to get pregnant and so much trouble and so much money. And so I remember telling myself unconsciously, you can't mess this up. You can't mess this up. You can't mess this up. So when my kids didn't share or they're disrespectful or they forgot to say thank you to the server, then I was like, oh, you're messing it up. So now you have to have a big reaction so you can correct this. So then you cannot mess this up so you can feel better. And do you see how it's all about me and all about my fear and all about my parenting? It was all about my journey. So what I try to teach on the podcast is separating that journey and staying in your lane, modeling, embodying what you want to. Know your kids are going to have their wild moments and they're going to freak out and they're going to have tantrums and they're going to have their pasta moments. But we just have to be the steady Eddie in their journey. And it's completely normal. I hope I've normalized that for you, that toddlers to teens and even young adults, they're still trying to figure it out just like we are in our 30s and 40s and 50s. Oh my God, I'm in my 50s. So when you're having those big reactions or your kids have those big reactions or your husband does or your wife does or your boss does or your coworker does or like that guy on the fishing boat, like it's not about the pasta. I don't know if you saw that guy who went absolutely nuclear on I think he was Gage. He was 22 years old and he gets on his boat and he loses his mind. And it's literally like, you look at that, you're like, it's not about the pasta. Like what, like I saw that and I was outraged and I was so mad. I was so scared for the kid and all the feels. But then I was like, at the same time, I was like, what is going on there? Is he drunk? Did he have PTSD? Because he was saying he was a veteran. Like what is going on? They later came out and said that he had TBI and PTSD, not excusing the behavior at all. However, I knew it wasn't about the pasta when I saw it. It wasn't about the kid. I think he thought he went through the wake line speeding or he didn't have his lights on or something like that. But the way that he was bowing up and the way he was screaming and the way he was flipping out, the reaction did not fit the crime, so to speak. So when that happens in your life, when your reaction does not fit that the kids aren't sharing, then just look and find out what it really is about. And that's where you're going to have your true freedom. It could be about a messy house. It could be about being overwhelmed. It could be about childhood trauma from pain from your parents. And you're really yelling at your parents because maybe you were muted and stuffed your whole life. And now you're yelling at your kids because you're really yelling at your parents. Like, a lot of that stuff goes on unconsciously. Or you might be telling yourself, like I was telling myself, you can't mess this up. You can't mess this up. You can't mess this up. Or you might want to be just like your parents because they were awesome parents. And then you feel like you're not being like your parents. That was a huge thing for me. My parents, I put on such a pedestal that, like, when I wasn't acting like I envisioned them acting when I was 3, like I remember, then I would have a big reaction. Like, I have to be perfect, because in my mind they were perfect. So I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect. I have to be the perfect parent. I have to be the perfect parent. I have to have other people think I'm the perfect parent too. Because if anyone criticizes me or says a little biting comment, like at a soccer game, then they're on to me. They know that I'm a failure. They know that I'm not a perfect parent. Oh my gosh, the gig is up. So all of that is playing into all of us. And when you know that, you're like, oh, that's just ego and fear. I'm going to parent out of love and kindness and calmness. And when that happens, your kids reflect back that to you. And then they feel like you are on their side. If you listen back to Lily's podcast, when she was on the 300th episode, she says, on your side, when you feel like your parents are on your side, she says that probably 5 or 6 times. Because when a child feels like you're on their side, they're not going to be so combative. They're not going to go so head to head. They're not going to be so, quote unquote, strong-willed. They're not going to want to go toe to toe because you've dropped the rope in the tug of war and they have nobody to play with. And they know that you're on their side. That's for toddlers or teens. It works across the board. Just like if you feel like your boss is on your side at work. You're like, he or she, he's got my back. He's on my side. There's conflict, there's troubles, there's things that come up, there's stressors, but I know that he or she's on my side. You're going to show up in a much different way in that workplace. If someone's gossiping about him or her, you might stick up for him or her. So the same thing works in the family dynamics. Think about your job and the dynamics in your job. I always go back to the classroom and the teachers and the principals and that's the structure that I, quote unquote, grew up in. And that is the same type of structure that is happening in the home. If you work in the corporate world, your boss, your coworkers, that is all just a like in your 4 walls is a microcosm of the corporate world. Let's just say you're in the corporate world, or if you're in the restaurant field, or if you're in a school, in your classroom. That hierarchy that you feel when you feel like there's no hierarchy with your bosses, or just like a mini hierarchy, like you could go to him or her and talk about things that are bothering you in the workplace. That's the same type of feeling and comfort and level we want with our kids. So sometimes when we can see it outside our 4 walls, it's a lot easier to see it in our 4 walls. And you might not be in that situation now, but think back in your 20s and 30s when you were in a situation like that in your workforce, that you're like, oh, that boss was really on my side. I felt that. He or she had my back, even when I messed up. So that energy is going to go a long way with our kids. And when we realize it's not about the pasta, it's so freeing because you're like, oh my gosh, it's not about the pasta. And when you do have those pasta moments, it's good to laugh at yourself instead of beating yourself up, because we're never going to grow from beating ourselves up. So when we're laughing at ourselves and saying it's not about the pasta, which I do this all the time, which I didn't realize I did it until I had a big reaction a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not about the pasta. What's going on for you, Kelly? What's going on? And I'm always talking to myself, like, what's going on for you? What's going on there? And this self-reflection will help you day in and day out to have more harmony in the home. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Hey, mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.